Mic check, check, 1, 2. Hello, I'm Elias, and you're listening to the Slam Fam Wrestling Network. Welcome to the family. You want me to start over, don't you?
Yes! Regal.
You don't even know what episode it is?
What episode is this, Alex?
I don't know either. 79, maybe?
I think it's 79. It'll be in the proper number will be in the description. We'll check before we break that.
I'm looking. Hold on. No, keep talking.
We're a little confused because we're going into the time machine today.
Oh yeah, we haven't referred to it as the time machine.
We're gonna go back in time. Bum, 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 bum.
The hell is that?
Gonna go back in time.
Stop singing.
Huey Lewis in the News, Back in Time, from Back to the Future, the greatest movie ever.
Oh. 78.
Okay, so 78. We're not 79 yet.
Next week, episode 79. See, we thought we were going to go to the future, but what we're actually going to do is go into the past.
We're going about 21 years into the past.
21 years into the past.
God,
how old were you, Regal?
I was 18.
You were 18, so
yeah.
I was 8.
That makes me feel really old when I think about the fact I was legally an adult 21 years ago.
Dang.
Yes, here we are, folks. It is another great episode of everyone's favorite thing that we do here on the show. Well, not everyone. I don't even.
Are you gonna fucking bury it from the shoot?
This
We spent 10 fucking hours doing this fucking thing. You are not gonna bury this from the shoot.
We actually put a lot of effort into this one, folks. So hopefully, I'm hoping and praying.
I put effort in every single week.
This episode does not suck.
This motherfucker wouldn't know effort if it bit him in the ass.
Wow.
But I put a lot of effort into every episode.
I feel like I put more effort into this one.
You did more than you usually do.
Yeah. So, yes.
I don't know if I'd say you put in more effort or if you just put in effort.
Wow.
I'm teasing you, Regal. Come on.
But no, it is a Pipedream Classic episode. We got a few people voted.
Yeah.
I take it, the fact that we get so little votes makes me seriously wonder, do people,
I don't leave them up very long, though. I only put them up like 2 days because I want time to plan.
I mean, yeah, that's true. And it's like, I mean, and hey, it's, at the end of the day, it's our show.
Right.
We're going to do what we want to do.
If you think we're doing this show for any of you, y'all can go fuck yourselves.
No.
Because there is one reason and one reason that there's 2 reasons they're doing this show. I'm doing it to entertain myself, and Regal's doing it to get himself over. And if you think for 1 second that we're doing this show for any reason other than that, y'all found the wrong podcast.
That is not true.
But it's pretty true.
We love our listeners.
So most of them.
I love all of our listeners, except Thomas Montgomery.
Wow. You're such a... What did he do to you? Why are you such a dick?
Thomas did nothing. I just like picking on Thomas Montgomery.
Oh, God. Thomas is going to hear this in the year 2020 when he's finally caught up on podcasts. And he's going to be like, damn, Regal, what did I do to you? And he's going to be like...
You've been dead for 3 years.
I was going to say, damn, Regal, I wish we could have resolved whatever heat we have before you died. And he's going to feel terrible. The joke is that, he's behind on podcasts and you're apparently going to die. I don't know.
And I'm fat.
I don't put words in my mouth. I did not say that.
I'm actually the one who said it first. So it was me making the joke.
When's the pizza getting here?
As we talk about me being fat, we ask for the pizza. Oh Lord.
Oh,
okay,
man.
so should we get?
If they like this shit, they like it. They don't care.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want to quote candidate Trump and say that we could walk out the 5th Street and shoot somebody on this show and our people would still love us.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say that, and I really don't feel that way. Murder is wrong. And if you're pro-murder...
Well, this show's taking a dark turn.
We don't want you listening
Alex
to this
is talking
show.
about murder. I'm talking about my death. Anyway.
The year is 1997.
Anyway, folks.
The president is Bill Clinton. Simple as
the greatest president ever in the history of the United States of America.
I don't know if I'd go that far. He was a good president.
Greatest president in my lifetime. How about that?
You can say that.
My favorite president, Bill Clinton.
All right. Anyways, without getting into too much politics, so we're gonna start out with our first. No, we forgot to name the pay-per-views.
We did forget.
But I realized that we did that in one of the previous Pipedream episodes too. I was listening back to one the other night. So, it's a Pipedream episode. Week 1, TV.
Well, we should talk about what happens.
Oh yeah, do the.
There is a little prologue here that on the previous show, the previous pay-per-view. So week 1 is coming off the previous pay-per-view.
The last pay-per-view of
the main event. The main event of that show, Hulk Hogan is defending the Pipedream Heavyweight Championship against Oz
in a steel cage match.
And out comes Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
Scott Hall.
Yep.
And Sean Waltman.
And Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
And they come out, they get inside the cage, and they help Oz. After Hogan... does Hogan keep the belt here?
Yeah.
Okay. So Hogan kept the belt. After the match, they all beat him down, and they officially announced that the Clique is here, and Kevin and Oz is no longer going to be held down by this stupid gimmick.
And I believe Hall had been Razor Ramon or Vinny or...
and the 1, 2, 3 Kid and all that.
Yeah. So they basically shed all of their gimmicks, say that they're going to be themselves, but we're not going to have Triple H call himself Paul Levesque, because Triple H is a fine name.
Yeah.
But everybody else is using their real names. So we got Sean Waltman, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, and Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
So he's not Michael Hickenbottom either.
No, he's not Michael Hickenbottom either.
Can you imagine if if they ever would have had to transition to that name?
Michael Hickenbottom. I think people would call him Hick for
Yeah.
short. We love Hick.
No.
That's probably a good thing he didn't do that.
No.
All right, you ready for TV 1?
So yeah, we're gonna go TV 1. Okay, now going into this, we should probably list off who the champions are. Besides, so we have Hogan.
Hogan's the world champ.
U.S. champ is Stunning Steve Austin.
Yep.
The tag team champions are British Bulldog and David Boyce, or British Bulldog and Owen Hart.
And going into TV 1, the Cruiserweight champion is Ultimo Dragon.
Cruiserweight is Ultimo Dragon, because opening match of TV 1, Cruiserweight title, Rey Mysterio defeats Ultimo Dragon to win the title. Right off the bat, TV 1 title switch. Then we get a promo, a highlight video of a group that's coming to Pipedream Championship Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, cue the Deep Purple, because the triple threat.
We probably would have just had Jim Johnston write him something new, but yeah.
Dude, I always loved the Deep Purple ECW coming out to...
Yeah, I ain't about to pay royalties, though, so...
You suck.
Next match, second match of the night, we saw Bret Hart defeat Sean Waltman, and Triple H attacked Bret Hart after the match, basically showing the solidarity and the gang mentality of the Clique. After that, the Clique is all in the ring. Shawn Michaels cuts a promo challenging Hulk Hogan to a match for the Pipedream World Championship. Hogan appears in the rafters wearing a black suit and a black bandana with the championship in his hand, not around his waist, not over his shoulder, but in his hand.
So, what's going on with Hulk? Why is he wearing all black? Why is he hanging out in the rafters? We
don't know. We know, but we're not telling you yet.
We booked it, so.
Next match, number 1 contenders match for the tag team titles. The Steiner brothers pick up a victory over Vader and Mankind, so they will face Owen and Davey at the pay-per-view. Next match, the Nature Boy Ric Flair against Flying Brian Pillman. And Flair wins by DQ when, shockingly, Chris Jericho interferes, attacking Flair. And some sort of alliance seems to have developed between Pillman, and Jericho.
After that, segment 7, we got Sting comes to the ring. Obviously, Sting's in there with Mean Gene. What's going on with Hulk Hogan? Why are you up in the rafters? You know, I hate the Clique. I'm going after them. I don't know where Hogan's head's at, but if I got to, I'll take down the Clique.
Yeah. Then the main event, stunning Steve Austin successfully defends the United States title against Dean Malenko. So, moving on to week 2. I just want to point out that Dean Malenko is really a utility player. Like, he's like probably the MVP of this season of Pipedream because we put him wherever we needed him and we moved him around constantly.
Dean's wherever we needed him to be, and dude, you go back to that 97. Was it 90? Was it 98? Did they give him the Wrestler of the Year with the PWI 500?
97 or 98. Yeah.
I think it was 98.
Okay.
Yeah, in 98, he was the number 1 Wrestler of the Year of the PWI 500 because basically he filled that role better than anybody in the world, where you could put him wherever you needed him on a card, and he would have a 4-star match with pretty much anybody in the world. And that's why he's agenting in the WWE in 2018, because he's legitimately probably one of the best guys in the history of the world.
Yes.
Also, great dude.
Yeah. All right.
TV2, we open up. We got a tag match. Rey Mysterio teaming up with our boy Jerry Lynn, taking on Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko.
I'm just going to throw this out there. Did we not use Eddie after month 1?
I don't think we used Eddie. What the heck were we thinking with that one?
I don't know.
It's one of those weird things where I think we kind of forgot that. Yeah, we forgot to keep using Eddie.
So the next match is kind of this ECW showcase match. We have kind of a working relationship with ECW, similar to what the WWF did in the mid '90s. But so it's Taz versus Chris Candido. But during this match, Ted DiBiase and Stunning Steve Austin are on commentary. Austin kind of implies that his match or his segment for the show basically got cut in favor of bringing in these ECW guys, and they're talking down about him, calls Taz a midget, and basically says these guys being on the TV show is a waste of time. I'll move into the next.
Up next, we have a promo. Jericho and Pillman come to the ring. Pillman talks about being a horseman that was thrown out because they didn't like the way he did things. They didn't like the loose cannon style. And he went out and he found a guy that can watch his back, a guy he could trust, a guy kind of a similar mindset.
A guy just as crazy as he is.
So we get Chris Jericho and Brian Pillman affectionately dubbing themselves the Crazy Blondes.
Yes. Next up, we have Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who attacked Bret Hart the previous week, picking up a victory over Jim the Anvil Neidhart, basically cementing that feud between Triple H and Bret. After that, Sting has a promo. Basically said last week he said he'd fight the Clique, and he's got a surprise for the Clique. He's got somebody up his sleeve. He's got backup. So if Hogan's not going to help him fight the Clique, he's got somebody who will.
After that, we got a singles match. We got Scott Steiner defeating the British Bulldog. That'd be an insane match of power.
Hoss battle.
Yeah, Hoss fight. After that,
setting up the fact that they're facing off for the tag titles, it's Steiners versus Owen and Bulldog at the pay-per-view.
After that, Shawn Michaels gets a cheap victory, a little dirty, underhanded tactic, defeating Arn Anderson.
The Clique comes out and are ready to beat up Anderson. Michael cuts a promo on Hogan, basically saying, "Come on, Hulk, I'm calling you out. I want to face you for the title." And then when the Clique's about to do their business on Arn Anderson, who comes out to rescue Arn, Regal?
Sting. And the surprise, ladies and gentlemen, the Ultimate Warrior is there with Sting. That's right. The legendary tag team, the Blade Runners, are back together in Pipedream Championship Wrestling. So the Blade Runners chase the Clique off as we end show number 2. Show number 3, we continue the ECW showcase in segment 1. Segment 1 of TV3, we have RVD and Sabu defeating the team of Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. Again, Austin and DiBiase on commentary for this one.
Basically saying how this is a waste of time and they don't like these guys. And They don't think these guys deserve to be here. But then somebody comes out during the match.
As they're on commentary, Taz comes from behind comes through the crowd and attacks Austin. So Taz attacks Austin. We get a brawl between Taz and Austin.
Basically, Taz heard what Austin said about him on commentary last week.
Yeah. Then we get segment 3. We get kind of a continuation of the tag title angle. Owen Hart defeating Rick Steiner. Standard, setup. You got a tag title match. You build up. You put the two guys in singles matches. So.
Absolutely. Then after this, a brutal beatdown.
Yeah, we cut to the
brutal backstage attack.
The Click attacks Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
5-on-1.
5-on-1 beatdown. And before anybody can get to him, they've beaten the Anvil so bad he has to get taken away in an ambulance to the hospital. And he is out.
That's the last we see of the Click that night.
Yeah. After that, Jericho defeats Flair by DQ.
Flair basically, pushes things a little too far. Maybe he gets a chair involved. Basically, Flair's point is that, as he explains to Mean Gene after the match, is that he's just as crazy as Jericho and Pillman, and if they want to have a battle to see who's crazier, Flair is more than equipped to be a part of that conversation, basically saying, you think you're crazy, kid. I'm crazier. And Flair's not afraid of the crazy blondes.
After that, we get what would be an excellent match. In the Cruiserweight division, we get Dean Malenko defeating Jerry Lynn. After the match, we get the announcement of a 6-man scramble for the Cruiserweight title at the pay-per-view. And the announcement, one of the people in that match, the return of the greatest junior heavyweight of all time, Jushin Thunder Liger.
Returning from Japan is Liger. The other guys in that match will be Rey Mysterio Jr., Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Ultimo Dragon, Jerry Lynn, and Jushin Thunder Liger.
Segment 8, we get the Blade Runners defeating Vader and Mankind. Good match. Blade Runners go over clean, build them up. Then in the final segment of the night, Mean Gene goes into the rafters to try to get an interview with Hulk Hogan. Obviously, Mean Gene tries to ask the standard questions. Hogan won't answer. Hogan just eventually walks away, and that's how we end with Gene obviously not getting a word from Hogan. What's going on? Fade to black. We still don't know.
So, TV4, we open up with a match featuring two guys who are going to be part of the ECW Showcase match at the pay-per-view, which will feature both the Triple Threat and Lance Storm taking on, well, we find out it'll be RVD, Sabu, Tommy Dreamer, and the Sandman. So we have Rob Van Dam picking up the singles victory over Lance Storm. Basically a great match showcasing both guys. In segment 2, Arn Anderson returns from the beatdown from week 2, says that, the Horsemen may be crazy, but they're also calculated. And at the pay-per-view, we're going to see Ric Flair and Arn Anderson pick up the win on the Crazy Blondes. So basically, Arn is coming back to bring the calculated with the crazy, and it's kind of experience and calculation versus the crazy youth of Pillman and Jericho.
So then after that, we get Ultimo Dragon.
Nope, you skipped one.
Oh, I skipped one?
Yeah.
Oh, we got Scott Steiner taking on Owen Hart. Ends up in a double DQ.
Bulldog and Rick get involved.
Everybody brawl. Everybody gets in a fight.
Setting up that tag title match.
Then we get to segment 4. Ultimo Dragon versus Jushin Thunder Liger. After the match, during the match, Waltman comes in.
Sean Waltman, a member of the Clique, also a cruiserweight,
comes in, causes the match to get thrown out, locks Liger in a buzz killer, separates the shoulder, injures Liger, and then takes his place in the 6-man scramble match.
Yes, so now we will be Sean Waltman taking Jushin Thunder Liger's spot. Mega heat here because we established that Liger's a pretty big fan favorite. Waltman injures him to take his spot in the match, which will get him a lot of heat. Next up, we have so after he attacked Austin, Taz has challenged Austin for a U.S. title match. Ted DiBiase basically comes out and says, we're not going to give Taz a shot. He's an ECW guy. We're not really about that. We're not getting him a shot at Austin's title. Taz comes out and says Austin sent DiBiase out here because he isn't man enough to take him on himself. Basically, Taz has some not so kind things to say about Austin. Austin then jumps Taz and basically goes against DiBiase's orders and say, you want a match, Taz? I'll give you a U.S. title match. I'll give you a U.S. title match at the pay-per-view. So we get that match set up there, and kind of a little bit of tension between DiBiase and Austin.
After that, we get Sting defeats Scott Hall, building up for that match at the pay-per-view. The Blade Runner is going to be taking on Hall and Nash.
Mm-hmm.
Then, next segment, we get Triple H and Shawn. They defeat the Hart Foundation.
Yep.
So
Brett and Anvil. Setting up that Triple H Brett match for the pay-per-view. Then the main event. The president of Pipedream Championship Wrestling, Mr. James J. Dillon. Wow, you hate JJ?
That's a gimmick that's a Bruce and Conrad gimmick when JJ.
Oh, you did Tony and Conrad gimmick.
Yeah, JJ have to start snoring.
All right. Well, JJ comes out and says, if Hogan fails to compete at the pay-per-view in his match against Shawn Michaels, because Hogan has been in the rafters, he's not returning anybody's calls, he won't talk to anybody. If he fails to compete at the pay-per-view, he will forfeit the title. As JJ is saying this, we cut to the ring, and we see the world title fall from the rafters into the ring as Hogan drops the title, and it really looks like he's not going to wrestle Shawn Michaels at the pay-per-view.
I just want to point out, in reality, JJ Dillon, a wonderful human being, great guy to talk to. You want to? I seriously think you could talk to him for about wrestling for hours on end.
All right.
So we get to the pay-per-view.
You want to go through pay-per-view results quick?
Yep, we'll go through the pay-per-view. So, match 1 is your ECW Rules Showcase match. The Triple Threat, along with the prospect Lance Storm, defeats the team of RVD, Sabu, and Dreamer and the Sandman. Cruiserweight Scramble match. Rey Mysterio Jr. defeats Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Ultimo Dragon, Jerry Lynn, and Sean Waltman. So Rey retains the title there. In match number 3, Chris Jericho and Brian Pillman, the Crazy Blondes, defeat Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. A little bit of an upset there. Match number 4, the Blade Runners defeat Hall and Nash. Match number 5, Hunter Hearst Helmsley defeats Bret Hart.
Just defeats Bret Hart.
Yeah. Helmsley probably, rolled him up, a handful of tights kind of finish.
Definitely not a clean finish.
Yeah, not clean. Owen and Bulldog defeat the Steiners. Steve Austin defeats Taz.
To retain the U.S. title.
Yeah, to retain the U.S. title. Now we get to the main event. Shawn Michaels comes out, says, Hulk Hogan, where are you at? Hulk Hogan, where are you at? Hulk's in the rafters, still wearing his suit.
Not moving.
He's not coming to the ring. Michaels says, well, I guess this means I'm the champ. You don't want to fight? Give me my belt.
And Sting comes out.
And
says, I can't give you a title match, but I think these people deserve a main event, so I tell you what, brother, I'll give you a fight. So we have a great match between Shawn Michaels and Sting. But in the end, Michaels picks up the victory, and after the match, the same brutal 5-on-1 beating that Hulk experienced at the end of '96, Sting falls victim to this, and the show ends with Sting surrounded, probably in a pool of his own blood.
Yeah.
So the next night, we open up Cruiserweight action. Number 1 contender to face Rey Mysterio at the pay-per-view. Sean Waltman defeats Jushin Thunder Liger in a dirty fashion. Liger maybe not totally clear, maybe still a little bit of
you can tell the shoulder's
injury.
Still bothering him there.
Shoulder's still bothering him. Next up, Triple H comes out for an interview, basically complains that he beat Bret Hart at the pay-per-view, but next week, Bret Hart's had a United States title shot. Triple H says, Bret doesn't deserve it. I should be the one getting the title shot. Kind of how dare he get that shot. Next up, tag team action. Hall and Nash pick up the victory over the Steiners. Just a great match there. Tag team action. Hall and Nash, obviously the heels. Steiners, big baby faces. Great match. Then after that, RVD and Sabu cutting a promo. They're want to get involved in the tag team division. They want to start having some tag team matches. And out comes, you know you want me.
Yeah,
You know you want me.
Sonny's here. It's 1997, folks. Sonny is definitely looking pretty good in 97. So
Absolutely. She comes out basically trying to recruit RVD and Sabu when Paul Heyman, their ECW representative, basically tells Sonny, get lost. Tells her to get lost.
After that, we get a matchup.
Hoss battle.
Bam Bam Bigelow taking on Steve Mongo McMichael. And this just ends in a giant ECW brawl with the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, with the Triple Threat and the Four Horsemen brawling. A lot of interference here. Obviously, a lot of bad blood between these guys. Giant two-team brawl. I'm gonna check on something here. Oh, no, that's next week. Alright, and then after that, J.J. Dillon comes out and announces there will be a number one contender battle royal at the pay-per-view. A 10-man battle royal where the winner will challenge for the world title at our third pay-per-view. Basically trying to find a new number one contender. After that, Regal, you want to go to the next match?
Jericho defeats Ultimo Dragon with the help of Brian Pillman.
Yep, basically getting the Crazy Blondes over as a tag team. Then in our main event, it's Shawn Michaels versus the Ultimate Warrior. Warrior coming out to get revenge for his partner Sting, who got left in a pool of his own blood at the last pay-per-view. Michaels picks up the win on Warrior. Oh, also, during this match, we look up to the rafters and see standing next to Hulk Hogan in a suit with no paint on his face.
He's got sunglasses on.
He's got sunglasses on, but no paint on his face. Is the man called Sting.
So yeah, so now you have Sting and Hogan standing in the rafters together. Michaels defeats the Ultimate Warrior, and Warrior once again gets the 5-man beatdown.
The 5-on-1 beatdown.
Yeah. So we open up TV2. The thing comes on. We've got the commentary team. They're talking.
Yep.
Corey Macklin's talking to Tony Schiavone and
I don't know about
Joey
that.
Styles.
I don't know about. Why do you have 3 play-by-play guys? That's terrible.
Corey can be color. He was color with Lance.
Okay.
I didn't cut it with Lance, Alex.
All right, Corey. How about you and Tony?
I'm over there, Pipe Dream.
Where?
Over there.
Pipe Dream?
Over there.
Where's Pipe Dream at?
It's over there.
Okay. Anyway, so during this very serious moment of the show, we see that there is now a third man standing in the rafters. In a black trench coat, dress shirt, and black slacks with sunglasses on, no paint on his face. There is the Ultimate Warrior. So we now have Hogan, Sting, and the Warrior standing in the rafters in all black.
So the first match of the night, we get Chris Candido defeats RVD. Sonny comes out, tries to help RVD. A little miscommunication, and Candido gets the victory.
Yep.
After that, we get a hype video of a guy who's finally coming to Pipedream Championship Wrestling. The one, the only, the working class hero. The man that's going to make everybody feel the bang. DDP is coming to Pipedream Championship Wrestling.
Absolutely. After that, we see 2 guys who are going to be involved in that number one contender battle royal. Mankind and Taz having what should have been a great brawl. We saw Mankind pick up the win. After that, J.J. Dillon comes out, and his intention, his plan, he comes out and says, we've got a lot of talent in our tag team division now. It is my intention to have a 2-week tournament to determine the number one contenders for the tag titles. When Owen and Davey come out and say, hey, there's only one team we want to fight. They've been sticking their noses up. They've been acting like they're better than everybody in the locker room. They're absolute jerks. We hate them. We want Hall and Nash at the pay-per-view. We'll put our titles up. You don't need to have a tournament. We want to fight Hall and Nash.
So
JJ agrees to that title defense.
After that, segment 6, we got Ultimo Dragon defeating Brian Pillman. Pillman and Jericho go to put the beat down on Dragon. Dragon gets saved by Jushin Thunder Liger.
Kind of setting up a tag team match there.
They chase off the Crazy Blondes.
Yep.
Then after that, Rey Mysterio is taking on Dean Malenko. He defeats Dean Malenko in the match, but during the match, Sean Waltman comes to ringside and steals the Cruiserweight title. So, of course, Rey finishes the match, goes to get his belt.
And it's not there.
Not there. What's going on? Finds out Waltman stole it.
And he's furious.
Yeah, he's as furious as Rey gets. I don't know. Rey doesn't get furious. Rey gets intense. We'll put it that way.
Fair enough. Then we come to a video, or we have footage in the back. The Triple Threat and Lance Storm have Steve Mongo McMichael isolated alone in the back, and they have a cinder block, and they use a cinder block to break Mongo's leg. All the while they're doing this, Shane Douglas is cutting a promo about how much he hates Ric Flair, how Ric Flair is the scum of the earth, and he is better than Ric Flair in every single way. And not only that, the Triple Threat is better than the Four Horsemen in every single way.
After that, we get the big U.S. title match, Bret Hart versus Steve Austin. During the match, DiBiase, of course, tries to help Austin, tries to pull some underhanded tactics. DiBiase accidentally hits Austin. Bret applies the sharpshooter. Austin, with no choice, taps. Basically, he's out. Bret defeats Steve Austin for the U.S. title based on the miscommunication with Ted DiBiase.
Absolutely. Then, end of the night, segment 10, Shawn Michaels comes out and says, we beat Hogan. We sent him up to the rafters. He ran like a coward. We beat up Sting. We sent him to the rafters. Beat him up like a coward. We beat up the Ultimate Warrior. Sent him to the rafters like a coward. There's nobody left. There's nobody left. The Clique is on top. There's not a single person. Ooh, yeah, The Macho Man comes out there, and all he does is stares Michael down, and you know he's ready to fight.
Yeah, just when Michaels thought there was nobody left,
out comes the Macho Man.
Here comes
Doesn't
the
say
Mach.
anything, just stares him down, but you know why he's there. All right, week 3. This is quite possibly the greatest episode of television in the history of Pipedream Championship Wrestling. We have booked a main event that you would want to see anywhere in the world. You will be sitting on pins and needles in anticipation for this week's main event.
We open up. We're in Montreal. We're in
Calgary. We're in Calgary.
In Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So obviously we get a promo
from the new United States champion,
Bret the Hitman. He comes out with the Hart Foundation. Basically, we're in my hometown.
We've seen this before. Stu and Helen are in the front row.
Stu and Helen's there.
Smith, Ross, Diana,
13-year-old Teddy.
Yeah, all the Hart kids.
11-year-old Natty. They're all there.
Yeah, Davey Boy Jr.
Yeah,
in the crowd, they're all there. The Hearts are all there. We've seen this. We've seen this before.
The coming home of hero of the Hart family.
The United States champion, Bret Hart, couldn't be more proud.
Yeah, they're there. Bret's happy. Everything's good, except we get the interruption.
No. This is just
okay.
This is just big old babyface hullabaloo.
Okay, so
grand celebration.
So yeah, we get that. Then we get a match.
Nope.
Oh,
we go to the back.
RVD
and Sabu again turn down Sunny, say thanks but no thanks. She's trying to persuade them when all of a sudden they get jumped by Vicious and Delicious, but not JT Energy and Jossie. In case you were wondering, it was not. Was Jossie even born in 90s? No. Yes, he was. He's about Margaret's age. So it was not 3-year-old Jossie and 9-year-old JT Energy or whatever.
That would be pretty amazing. But...
no, it was Scott Stein. No, gosh, Scott Flash Norton and Buff Bagwell.
Buff the Stuff. The original Vicious and Delicious.
Buff. Daddy. But they beat up RVD and Sabu. And then after that, we have more tag team.
I got this one. Then, okay, so we get the next matchup. Jericho and Pillman, the crazy blondes, come to the ring. Jericho grabs the mic and says, "We're not waiting for a pay-per-view. We're not waiting until next week. We want those two masked freaks, Jushin Thunder Liger and the Ultimo Dragon, to get them out here right now. Come on, where are you guys at? Bring it to the ring." Rey Mysterio's music hits.
No, why would Rey Mysterio's music hit? Liger and Dragon's music hits.
So Liger's music hits. I'm messing up. Liger's
and also, during this point on commentary, Mike Tenay would probably point out that Liger and Dragon are in Japan.
Yeah, Liger and Dragon are conveniently in Japan, so Tenay's out there, because he is the Japanese expert. And but the music hits, and here comes it's Liger and Ultimo Dragon. How are they here? Wait. That's not Liger and Dragon. There are two guys that kind of look like them. That's right. We've got mini Jushin Thunder Liger and mini Ultimo Dragon. So the Crazy Blondes take on two little versions of Ultimo and Jushin. And Jericho, they kind of mock him. They play with him a little bit, and then they beat him up. The Crazy Blondes defeat, and I'm making the finger quotations, Liger and Dragon in a tag team match.
Absolutely. After this, Mean Gene wants a scoop about what happened last week in the U.S. title match. Austin and DiBiase come out, but Austin basically says to Ted, "Hey, Ted, well, why don't you go back to the back? I've got this." And Austin sends Ted back to the back and says, "You know what? I want my rematch with Brett. I know Hunter Hearst Helmsley is asking for another shot at Brett. He said he beat Brett at the pay-per-view. And I talked to J.J. Dillon. Next week, I'm going to fight Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And whoever wins is going to face Brett at the pay-per-view."
After that, we get a match. Shawn Michaels.
We're on segment 6.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
I thought we were on segment 5.
Oh, you're right.
I am on. See, I'm right. Yeah.
You're right. Sorry.
After that, Shawn Michaels taking on Rey Mysterio Jr. Absolutely excellent match.
This is not the main event that we promised you. That's still coming. It's going to be great.
Excellent match. Mysterio almost pulls the ultimate upset until Sean Waltman interferes, cost Rey Mysterio, and Shawn Michaels picks up the victory. After that, we get a promo from the Horsemen. They're in the ring. They come to the ring. They're calling out the triple threat. Rick's pissed. He's got the crazy eyes, the neck's bulging. "You took out my buddy. You took Mongo out. You don't know what you're getting yourselves into. We're the Four Horsemen. I'm gonna get more crazy. I was extreme before you. We're still in diapers."
He was extreme before you were still in diapers. That was a great promo. You better hope Rick doesn't show up today.
I'm summarizing.
Very enough. After that, we have a great match, a world title match anywhere on the planet. Two of my all-time favorites. Honestly, two guys are in my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. But still, not the main event that we promised you. Later tonight, the greatest match in the history of professional wrestling is not this. This is just a tribute. As Randy Macho Man Savage picks up the win.
Tribute.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to, Regal. Randy Macho Man Savage picks up the victory against Mankind. This would be an absolutely insane, intense brawl. After the match, Macho grabs the mic and says, "Michaels, I'm coming for you. You took out all my friends, and now you're going to have to take me out.
But now it's time, folks.
Now it's time.
The greatest
match
main event
in the history of professional wrestling.
It is. We're in Calgary. Hall and Nash.
That was me doing a drum roll, not Regal doing something else.
Hall and Nash. Wow. Hall and Nash. So Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, they are here to take on. They dropped the challenge. It's Calgary, Alberta, Canada. They want members of the Hart family. It is Hall and Nash taking on the amazing team of Ross and Bruce Hart, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo-hoo-hoo! You got Shawn Michaels on your roster. You got Ric Flair. You got Macho Man Randy Savage. You got Steve Austin. Who are you going to put in the main event, baby? Ross Hart, Bruce Hart, and Kevin Nash. I'm sorry. The only guy in this match that has any business being in a main event is Scott Hall and maybe the referee.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here, and I'm here to talk about Pipedream Championship. Something to wrestle with. Alex McCarthy and Timothy Regal. Alex McCarthy and Timothy Regal. Who booked this shit?
I did. I booked this shit.
How in the world did we book Hall and Nash versus Bruce and Ross Hart on a fucking match in 1997?
It sets up the main event. Or it sets up the post-match, which is a big old...
Hey, Conrad, Bruce Hart was a hell of a worker. He was over like Rover in 1997.
Oh, fuck.
What's your favorite Bruce Hart match, Regal?
Alright.
I don't know, Conrad.
Alright. After the match, after Hall and Nash beat up Bruce and Ross Hart, the rest of the clip comes out, Sean, Hunter, and Sean, and they surround the patriarch of the Hart family, Stu Hart, and that's when all fucking hell breaks loose. And that's why we put it in the main event, because we wanted this scene of all hell breaking loose. Stu, they're all trying to keep him away from Stu. Smith Hart's jumping in. Diana might throw a punch at Sean Waltman. Natty's biting somebody. It's fucking crazy. Triple H and Bret Hart pair off in this fight, but it's fucking made. It's chaos in Calgary to end the show as the Hearts and the Clique start to come to a boiling point here, and that's what takes us off the air for TV3. And there's a. Well, go ahead. Move on to TV4, but that was the end. Yeah. That's why we booked that
TV3,
shit.
Greatest main event in the history of Pipedream Championship Wrestling.
Absolutely.
Open up TV4. Liger defeats Jericho.
Clean
victory. Get the baby faces up. Get Liger a big win over Jericho. Then we move on to match number 2. Vicious and Delicious defeat Dreamer and Sandman.
Again, just basically establishing Buff and Scott Norton as a tag team here. Get them over, give them a big victory to establish themselves before they face RVD and Sabu at the pay-per-view.
After that, we get another video for DDP, hyping up his arrival in the number 1 contender battle royal. Then Jerry Wynn taking on Sean Waltman. Defeats Waltman by countout. When Rey Mysterio comes running to the ring, Waltman grabs the Cruiserweight title, takes off through the crowd so that Rey Mysterio can't get his belt back. And Jerry Lynn gets the victory by countout. After that, we get Benoit and Lance Storm. Benoit defeats Lance Storm. Horsemen come in. They injure Storm. You know, what's good? You took out Mongo. Now we're going to take out one of your guys.
Got Mongo.
So Storm is now out. After that, we get the president, JJ, coming out. JJ makes it official at the pay-per-view. It's going to be the world title match. Shawn Michaels taking on the Macho Man for the Pipedream World Heavyweight title.
He also announces that in the following contest, if the match ends in a disqualification or an interference, so the match is Owen Hart versus Scott Hall, and JJ says, hey, if somebody runs in, if somebody gets involved, or if you guys can't follow the rules, if you guys lose your cool, the tag title match at the pay-per-view is off. Basically says, I gave this match to Owen and Bulldog as a favor. They wanted to prove they were better. But if this match ends in a DQ or a screwy finish, the tag title match is off. So it's Owen versus Hall. Owen picks up the victory clean. So the tag title match is still on. Owen and Bulldog versus Hall and Nash. After this, we have Ted DiBiase basically coming in, and he says, hey, you know, things kind of got a little patchy with me and Austin. I cost him the title last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever. He's asked me to stay out of his business tonight. He's asked me to stay in the back. I just want to introduce my new client, Vader. You know, Austin's, maybe he doesn't need me. Maybe he's right. That's okay. I'm gonna back Vader now as basically basically implying that Vader's going to be his second client. But then in the main event, the number 1 contender match between Triple H and Steve Austin, we find out that Vader is more than a second client. Vader has been sent out to screw Austin, and Triple H picks up the victory, so it will be Triple H and Brett for the U.S. title at the pay-per-view. So now we're at our pay-per-view, Regal. This is our second pay-per-view?
Second pay-per-view. We didn't have pay-per-views except for the last one. We were going to do that, so we got real tired towards the end of the booking session. Because we did this for a long time.
We spent 6 hours doing this.
6 hours on this yesterday, so that's
and
why...
a couple hours last week.
I really hope people are enjoying this one. Opening match of the pay-per-view, RVD and Sabu versus Vicious and Delicious with Sunny. Vicious and Delicious get the victory there. Match number 2, tag team match. Crazy Blondes defeat Ultimo Dragon and Jushin Thunder Liger. Match number 3, we got Flair, Anderson, and Benoit from the Horsemen taking on Douglas, Bigelow, and Candido, the triple threat. Douglas, Bigelow, and Candido pick up the victory, and after the match, as they're leaving, Shane Douglas looks over, he walks over, and he grabs Ric Flair's robe and takes it with him.
So disrespectful.
Disrespecting the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. After that, we have the number 1 Contenders Battle Royal. I'll list off the participants. We got Steve Austin, Vader, Taz, Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner, Mankind, Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, Jerry Lynn, and DDP. DDP picks up the victory when DiBiase enters the ring during the match, not the end. DiBiase actually runs into the ring and actually throws Steve Austin over the top rope when he's not looking, and then takes off. Eventually, DDP picks up the victory.
Setting up DDP to challenge the winner of the main event.
DDP, the new number 1 contender. Then we get United States Championship match. Bret the Hitman Hart and Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Triple H actually picks up the victory here.
New United States champion again.
Triple H. Then we get a Cruiserweight title match. Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Sean Waltman. Waltman picks up the victory. So Waltman is now your new Cruiserweight champion.
Did you see the typo I made in the tag title match?
Tag title match. We have Owen Hart and the British Bulldog taking on Scott Hall and Nashville.
It's supposed to be Kevin Nash. I was tired. I wrote Nashville.
Is he taking on Doug Ritter?
No, he's taking on the entire city of Nashville. That explains why Hall and Nashville won.
Why Hall and Nashville pick up the victory.
Hall and Nash. So basically, so far the Clique has the U.S. title, the Cruiserweight title, the Tag Team titles, and in the main event, Shawn Michaels versus Macho Man Randy Savage. Would the Clique walk out with all of the gold? Unfortunately, they do. Shawn Michaels defeats Macho Man Randy Savage, wins the world title, and after the match, the Clique surrounds the ring, and this time using their titles as weapons, 5-on-1 beatdown of the Macho Man Randy Savage as Hogan, Sting, and the Warrior in all black and sunglasses inside watch from the rafters as Macho Man's taken out. Alright, Regal.
So now we go to TV 1.
Yep, TV 1 opens up. You want me to take this one?
We didn't put the other thing in there though.
What other thing?
So technically there is another opening that we didn't put in.
Oh, Macho Man.
The opening is again.
Yeah.
So TV 1 comes on. They're reviewing the nights of the paper. They're reviewing the happenings of the pay-per-view, and of course the spotlight comes up in the rafters. The 4 members of what are now being dubbed by the commentary team the Forgotten, Hogan, the Blade Runners, and now
still got a bandana on.
Still got the bandana. Still got the sunglasses. But Randy Macho Man Savage, and he got the black leather jacket on.
Yep.
You know, black pants,
black dress shirt,
all dressed in black. He is up there now in the rafters.
I kind of picture Hogan in a suit. And then I picture Sting in a suit. Savage and Warrior's wearing like a black
Warrior's got
trench
the trench coat, and then Savage pretty much has Savage's gear just all black.
Right.
He's got his NWO Hollywood gear on.
Yeah.
But
the first planned thing on the show is
so we get Douglas comes out, the Triple Threat comes out, and Douglas cuts a promo wearing Ric Flair's robe.
Yes.
So Douglas is, Ric Flair, I hate you. I've always hated you. You're a piece of garbage. I stole your robe. Now you want it, come and get it.
Next up, we have Ultimo Dragon versus Jushin Thunder Liger and Mankind on commentary. So kind of what Mankind's saying is, both of these guys wear masks just like me. And he's kind of, but that's all he's saying. He just keeps saying, oh, these masked wrestlers, they wear a mask, I wear a mask. Doesn't really explain why he's there. After that, we cut to the back. We see a locker room door that says Ted DiBiase on it. Of course, who comes to sit outside that door? None other than Steve Austin. Sets up a folding chair and basically camps out in front of DiBiase's locker room and says, when that SOB gets here, I'm going to kick his ass.
After that, we got a match.
This is okay. This might be the greatest match we booked.
Well, it's the Sandman.
Yep.
Taking on Buff Bagwell.
Great match.
But wait, what? Who's? There's somebody's coming through the crowd. Wait, it's
Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake.
Brutus Beefcake comes to the ringside, grabs a mic, and he starts cutting a promo about about Hogan.
The four guys up there. He's a big fan of all those guys. He knows they're stand-up guys, and eventually he knows that they're gonna stand up to the Click. They're his guy. He's a big fan of them, and he knows that they're gonna do the right thing.
After that, we get a promo in the back. We get the Crazy Blondes. They're trying to recruit Owen Hart.
And Owen kind of doesn't say yes, but doesn't say no. It's kind of, he just kind of moves on. After that, we have Sonny approaching Steve Austin. And basically, he's like, hey, Steve, basically says, hey, Steve, how's it going? Why don't you come with me? Why don't you leave DiBiase alone? Austin actually makes the mistake of getting out of the chair while she's there, while he's talking to Sonny. Scott Norton and Buff Bagwell jump Austin from behind, 2-on-1 beatdown. They've lured him into a trap. Sonny is aligned with DiBiase. Vicious and Delicious aligned with DiBiase and Vader. You got the next one, Regal?
Yep. Up next, we get a match. DDP taking on Waltman. DDP defeats Shawn with the Diamond Cutter. DDP, obviously the number one contender, and he's going to try and take out as many members of the Clique on the way as possible.
Absolutely. Then after that, we go to a sit-down interview talking about the history of the rivalry between Jerry Lynn and Sean Waltman. And basically, Lynn says, hey, I got the victory over him last week by countout. Sean Waltman's never beaten me. So basically, Jerry Lynn establishing something between him and Sean Waltman. Main event, rematch from the pay-per-view, Bret Hart versus Triple H. And Bret picks up the victory by countout. Triple H walks out, takes the countout loss, and this thing isn't over yet. Next up, week 2, we open up with the Clique delivering a 5-on-1 beatdown of Diamond Dallas Page.
Obviously, the Clique beatdown, what we've become known for. DDP gets laid out at the beginning of the show, and now we don't know what's going on. DDP's out for the whole entire rest of the show.
Yep.
So then now we go to our first match. Ric Flair defeating Chris Candido.
You know what's funny? I was listening back to either 2000 or 2001 Pipe Dream. We actually booked this match on a TV, Ric Flair versus Chris Candido.
Really?
So we must really like this match.
Yes. I love Chris. So
I love both. Rick. Obviously.
So Flair defeats Chris Candido.
Then the Crazy Blondes come out for an interview with Gene, and they are for the first time wearing matching jackets. And they have a third jacket. And what does it say on the back of that third jacket, Regal?
It says Owen.
It says Owen. They have a matching jacket for Owen. They say that, that he can't trust the Bulldog. He can't trust his family. The only ones he can trust are the Crazy Blondes. Up next, we have a great match. I think we maybe actually already booked this match on another TV, but it's Jerry Lynn against Dean Malenko. Jerry picks up the win here. As he's having his hand raised, Sean Waltman waffles him in the back of the head with the Cruiserweight title.
Yeah. So, obviously building up the heat for that. Then, segment 5, we get Hall and Nash coming out for a promo. They agree. So, Brutus has challenged them to a match.
Yes.
So, Brutus the Barber Beefcake has challenged Hall and Nash to a match. Hall and Nash come out. They think this is hilarious.
Yeah.
And they agree to the match, but they lay out a stipulation that if Hall and Nash win, the Forgotten are fired. They can't show up in the rafters. They're gone. They're
Make
done.
sure you don't name who Brutus's partner is here, even though I have it in the notes.
If Brutus and his partner win, the Clique has to face the Forgotten.
So basically, big implications for Brutus.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So we get there's Hall and Nash say, okay, you want the match? Here's the thing: we win, you're gone. You win, win. The Forgotten can face us finally if they want.
Yep.
Awesome. So we go to match 6. Austin defeats Vicious and Delicious in a handicap match.
Yep, handicap match.
Then after the match, Vader runs in, attacks. Double Mongolian, Vader bomb. Austin gets laid out by DiBiase, and apparently, Sonny's guys. Apparently, DiBiase's paid him off here.
Hey, everybody's got a price, Regal.
Everybody's got a price. So then we get to a segment.
Can I take this next one?
Okay.
So we get to this next one, and Jushin Thunder Liger and Ultimo Dragon are entering they're in the locker room, they're getting ready, they're putting their masks on when all of a sudden Mankind attacks them both from behind. Pile drivers on the shower tiles in the locker room, pile driver on the cement floor. Mankind, does he explain himself next week? Yes, he does. So we don't know why. Mankind's gone crazy. He attacks Liger and Dragon. We don't know why. Main event, 6-man tag. Brett, Owen, and Davey versus the Clique. I'm assuming that this variation of the Clique would be Hunter, Hall, and Nash, maybe.
Yeah.
And they walk out on the match. They don't want to fight the Harts. The Harts win by countout. Triple H is evading Bret Hart. He won't get in the ring with Bret.
We'll go TV3.
What?
Yeah. What?
We open up with a Flair promo. He basically says, Douglas, you stole my robe. I am going to take apart the Triple Threat. I'm going to take them all out, and I'm going to get my robe back.
Rick, I didn't know you were here.
I'm here.
Okay.
On the other side. Woo! When you're living. And then, after that, we have a 6-man tag.
Hey, Rick.
What?
I can handle this one, but I just got a question. Are you happy with your booking so far in 97?
If Kid Nito beats me, I'll castrate you.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah, we'll make sure that doesn't happen.
All right.
Okay. Segment 2, Austin and the Steiners defeat Vicious and Delicious and Vader in a 6-man tag. But even though it's a 6-man tag, a lot of things are going on. Austin and Vader never actually get into it with each other.
They never touch.
Austin probably, Stone Cold Stunner's buff for a win here, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
After that, JJ comes to the ring, says Triple H wants to keep running off with the U.S. title, keeps wanting to get himself intentionally counted out, says he's got a way to make that not be a factor. JJ announces at the pay-per-view it's going to be Bret Hart versus Triple H in a lumberjack match.
Yeah, it's going to be the ring's going to be surrounded by guys who will make sure that it stays in the ring. Next up, we have Mankind, kind of promo. basically says that, you know, I saw these guys in the locker room. I saw them getting ready for the show. And I thought they wore a mask for the same reason I did. I thought they wore a mask because they were ugly and demented and deranged. But I saw them underneath their masks. And they're good-looking guys. Ultimo Dragon is damn handsome. And so if they're gonna, and them wearing a mask, even though they're good-looking guys, they're mocking me. They're doing that to mock me, and they're attacking me by wearing a mask, and so I attacked them. And now, I am the only person in Pipedream Championship Wrestling that wears a mask. Well, wait a minute. Rey Mysterio Jr. comes out. He says, "Hey, pal, you're not the only one wearing a mask around here. What do you say at the next pay-per-view? It's you and me, mask versus mask." So we have Mankind versus Rey Mysterio in a mask versus mask match for the next pay-per-view. Next up, we have a special debut from Japan, getting a cruiserweight title match. Taka Michinoku makes his debut against Sean Waltman, and Taka gets the victory by disqualification. And so it had already been announced that it'd be Jerry Lynn versus Sean Waltman at the pay-per-view for the title, but now there's kind of an implication that, well, maybe Taka just beat the champ, even though it was by DQ. Maybe Taka should get another shot. So that kind of remains going to be seen how JJ resolves that.
Up next, segment 6, we go to the back and we find Owen Hart laid out.
Owen Hart laid out in the back. Nobody knows who did it.
Nobody knows who did it. The Crazy Blondes come out. They're talking to BG. They're like, "Hey, we didn't do it. We just got to the building." You know,
they imply maybe it was Bulldog, maybe it was Brett.
We've been saying you can't trust the people you're with, Owen. Maybe you might want to look at where those guys were.
Mm-hmm.
So, up next, folks.
The greatest match in the history of Pipedream Championship
Wrestling. If you thought that Kevin Nash Hall versus Bruce and Ross Hart was not enough for you, folks.
If Sandman versus Buff Bagwell was not enough for you,
we got a match right now that's going to blow your mind. As in a non-title main event, Shawn Michaels takes on Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake. Hashtag BTFBB is here to take on Shawn Michaels, the showstopper, the icon, and the main eventer. And
the match ends when another debut.
We get Jimmy, of course. You know, Shawn. He's beating down on Brutus. Brutus giving it his all, man. But Shawn's beating him down. Shawn throws him into submission. He, throws him in the sharpshooter. He's trying to get out. He can't get out.
Shawn's just kind of mocking him. Shawn's just being a dick.
Yeah. Jimmy Hart runs in, throws in the towel.
And we see that Jimmy is now aligned with Brutus.
So after
they're celebrating in the ring, the rest of the clique comes out. Brutus and Jimmy kind of leave in rejection. And Shawn they basically say, "Hey, look, we beat up Brutus. We beat up all those old guys up there. We beat up DDP. There's nobody left. But who comes through the crowd, Regal?"
They're looking. They think DDP is going to show up in the rafters.
They're looking in the rafters.
DDP is showing up in the rafters. DDP comes through the crowd with a bat, takes out Hall, takes out Nash, takes out Triple H. Shawn gets away. DDP grabs the mic and says, "Look, I'm not like the rest of those guys. You can knock me down, but you can't keep me down.
I'll get knocked down. I'll get up again. You're never going to keep me down."
DDP's like, "I don't care how many times you knock me down. I'm going to keep coming back. I'm here to fight. I'll see you in a couple weeks at the pay-per-view."
Mm-hmm. All right, TV4, the last stop before our third pay-per-view opens up with the British Bulldog versus Brian Pillman. Bulldog, I'm picturing like a picture-in-picture promo here where Bulldog says, "Listen, I didn't take out Owen. Owen's my friend. He's my tag team partner. I didn't do it." So Pillman and Jericho are trying to screw over Bulldog here. When Owen makes the return, stops Jericho from interfering and says, "I know it was the Crazy Blondes. I know it wasn't Bulldog." Bulldog picks up the victory over Pillman.
After that, match number 2, we get Vader defeats Rick Steiner. After the match, Austin attacks. They brawl all the way around ringside, all the way to the back. After that, match 3, the match gets set up by J.J. Dillon. Says, okay, Taka Michinoku, Jerry, you're the number 1 contender. Taka has a claim now. He did beat Sean Waltman by DQ. So it's going to be a number 1 contenders match. Jerry Lynn versus Taka Michinoku. Jerry Lynn picks up the victory. He is
kind of
now
the underdog story here of
Yeah.
Jerry. Jerry had earned his shot, or he beat Waltman himself. Then he kind of earned his shot, and then he basically was going to get overlooked. He basically almost lost his shot when Taka came along, and he's kind of like, "Whoa, am I gonna lose my shot here?" But no, Jerry Lynn picks up the victory. All right, you got the next one, Regal?
Yep.
Segment 4.
We get a Jimmy Hart promo. Jimmy comes out with Brutus, says, they've been wondering who it's going to be. They think this is a joke, but Brutus has a partner, and Brutus brings out the 7'2" the Giant.
I wish you would read what it says on the note sheet.
Brutus has a partner. It's the motherfucking Giant.
It's the motherfucking Giant. So it's going to be Brutus and the Giant versus Hall and Nash at the pay-per-view. Next up, we have Rey Mysterio versus Bam Bam Bigelow. Rey's got a big match against Mankind at the pay-per-view. Mask versus Mask. He wants to show what kind of underdog he can be. And if there's one person that can get Rey over, I think, as this underdog fighter, as the guy who can
take out a huge,
have a great match with him, show that Rey can go, it's Bam Bam. But Rey, Bam Bam kind of gets up on Rey a little bit when all of a sudden someone who Bam Bam basically sees a ghost standing on the stage, the man whose leg they broke earlier about a month or two ago. Mongo is right there, and Mongo looks ready to fight. Bam Bam gets distracted. Rey rolls him up. Rey gets the victory on Bam Bam. And next up, we have Shane Douglas versus Arn Anderson, basically setting up this Douglas Flair match at the pay-per-view. Douglas picks up the victory. Kind of surprising to a lot of people, probably.
Yeah.
Next up, Triple H versus Owen Hart. Hunter actually gets the clean victory on Owen. I mean, Owen also obviously recovering from the attack by the Crazy Blondes from the previous week, but Triple H doesn't run. He stays in the ring and he picks up the victory, kind of giving you that, maybe he can beat Bret in a lumberjack match.
So then in your final segment of TV4, we have JJ comes to the ring for the official contract signing. HBK comes to the ring, DDP. They jog back and forth a little bit. They eventually sign the contract. They get up from the table. Of course, Shawn Michaels goes for the sweet chin music. DDP catches it, sees it coming, catches the leg, immediately flips that leg out, right in, bang, diamond cutter. We go off the air. DDP celebrating in the crowd as Shawn Michaels is laying unconscious in the ring from the diamond cutter.
Bang! Alright, so next we have a pay-per-view opening match, Mask versus Mask, Mankind versus Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio being backed up by Ultimo Dragon and Jushin Thunder Liger. Ultimately, Rey picks up the victory over Mankind. After the match, Mankind takes off the mask. We see he's not as deranged as he says he was. I mean, I don't know that I'd necessarily call Mick Foley handsome, but not as deranged as he says he was. Mankind, frustrated that he lost, frustrated he has to take off the leather mask, actually kind of headbutts the stairs, kind of does a head dive into the stairs, and when he does, he gets up a little woozy, he's shaking, you think he's dizzy, but then he starts dancing, he rips open the shirt, and the Dude Love music starts playing, and have mercy! Mankind has been transformed into Dude Love.
Was I that tired last night that I let you book that? Oh, yeah. Okay. Alex booked that one, folks.
I love Dude Love.
Yes, I know. After that, Crazy Blondes taking on Owen and Bulldog. Owen and Bulldog pick up the victory. Obviously, the Crazy Blondes were messing with Owen's head the whole time. Owen was too smart for it, though. He knows that Bulldog's his brother, that the Hart Foundation would never turn on him. So they're back together, stronger than ever. Steve Austin defeats Vader. Cruiserweight Championship match. Sean Waltman defeats German. Lynn comes so close, but he can't quite get over the hump here.
Not quite.
So close. Excellent, great match.
A lot of politicking from Regal.
Yeah.
I wanted to put the title on Jerry, but Regal said no.
Not quite yet. It's an underdog story.
It's an underdog story that we don't finish.
Well,
All right. Yeah, I know. Next up, we have a lumberjack match for the U.S. title. Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Bret Hart. Hunter tries to run. He can't run. Bret locks in the sharpshooter. Maybe Ross and Bruce Hart are lumberjacks for this match. Did you ever think of that, Regal?
Yeah.
I bet they are. I bet they come out to support Bret.
Yeah.
Bret gets the victory. After the match, Hunter runs away. Sabu, Taz, Tommy Dreamer, and the Sandman enter the ring. They were the lumberjacks during the lumberjack match. They brutally assault Bret in a 4-on-1 assault. After the Hart Foundation had chased off Triple H and the Clique, Bret was alone in the ring celebrating. He gets jumped by the ECW guys. And hopefully we'll get some explanation.
What's going on? Why are the ECW guys jumping Bret Hart after this? But up next, we get a non-title match. It's Hall and Nash taking on the Giant and Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
With Jimmy Hart.
And in an unbelievable move, the Giant, I'm going to guess primarily thanks to the fact that he's got the Giant with him.
It's primarily the Giant.
Brutus and the Giant defeat Hall and Nash. The Forgotten are back.
Well, and you get a camera shot of the four of them in the rafters, and they basically just exit the rafters.
Yeah, you see them watching the match in the rafters, and then win the win. The Giant, Brutus is celebrating. He thinks it's the greatest thing, and they just quietly sort of turn and they walk off.
Yep.
So we don't know yet quite where they're at. Obviously, things are in motion, but after that we get Ric Flair and Shane Douglas. This match is an all-out war. These guys, well, not an all-out war. It's a war. Not an all-out war, but it's a war. This match, straight-up war. These guys hate each other. It's a brawl. They're fighting all over the place. Douglas picks up the victory over Rick.
Let me tell you something, baby.
Dusty.
You one lucky son of a bitch.
Why?
Because I was up there for the Gates Championship Wrestling. I was snooping at your booking sheet. I was trying to get some ideas. Trying to mine from the brilliant mind of the 7th Star Mind Alex because he gets some ideas for up here.
I did a lot of this too, Dusty.
Yeah, I know you did. Whatever. But you heard what Flair said about you, baby.
What?
You heard he said if you let Shane Douglas beat him, he was going to castrate you.
He said Candido.
No, he said Douglas.
No, he said Candido.
No, he said Douglas.
Did he?
Yes.
Man, Shane got the victory over here.
No, baby. I understand. I understand you got to make hard decisions sometimes when you're the Booker man.
You're a Booker man. You got to put the heat on the heel.
I know. You got to put the heat on. So this is what I did. I got Flair locked in the closet.
Okay.
You better hope he doesn't get out of here by the end of the episode.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk to you later, baby.
All right.
I'll come back today to do the plug.
All right, Dust. Hey, Dust.
Yeah.
You're
not gonna say thank you?
Thank you
for keeping Rick from castrating your ass.
Keep Rick away from me. Thank you. I just want you to know we didn't book you because you're doing commentary a lot. So.
What's up when you say Corey Macklin was doing commentary earlier?
Corey's here. You're here.
This is a WCW thing. We got like 18 people doing commentary.
We got a lot of commentators in '97.
Whatever. Fuck you, Regal.
Wow, Dust. I love you too, Dusty.
All right, main event time. And Shawn Michaels defeats Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah.
Hard-working match or whatever.
Yeah, Shawn defeats DDP. I'm a little bummed about that. But
because, it makes perfect sense for a guy who's showed up halfway through the story to fucking...
But he's over.
Only because it's fantasy booking and you can make him... You can pretend he's over. I mean, he's Moreover, when I saved your ass from what you wanted to do.
Folks, if you can't tell, I am a much bigger DDP fan than Alex McCarthy.
Well, I'm a much bigger Jerry Lynn fan than Timothy Regal.
You're a much bigger Taz fan than Timothy Regal as well.
I am a much bigger Taz fan. So Shawn Michaels retains. DDP, valiant effort, but he's still a loser. So
that is the third pay-per-view, and now...
Hey, you know what, Regal?
What?
I'm just going to say this.
What?
If Diamond Dallas Page was over, WCW would still be in business.
Yeah. Okay, Bruce.
I'm kidding.
Okay, Bruce. Oh, fuck. I literally never screamed at my radio louder than that moment.
All right. So, TV1, we're in the go home. We're on the go home stretch. We're over it. If you're still with us, it's been over an hour and 15 minutes.
Matt Ritter's still listening, so we're good.
I love Matt Ritter.
Thomas Montgomery's still listening, because I'm going to text him and tell him he has to listen to this
2021.
one. No, I'm going to text him and tell him he has to listen to this one this week.
Okay. Opening match, non-title, Sean Waltman versus Rey Mysterio. Rey picked up a big victory against Mankind at the pay-per-view. Sean beat Jerry Lynn. Rey picks up the win in the non-title match. Next up, we have some hype for a debuting superstar, because it's the last month of the show, so why not have a fucking debut? But it's gonna be Medusa.
You booked it!
I know I did. Because we needed some fucking filler matches, because we've got everybody involved in the big match.
That's true. Rey Mysterio,
which we'll explain next week.
Yeah, Medusa. We get Medusa hype video. After that, we get Ted DiBiase and Sonny. They're trying to recruit the Steiners.
Yep.
The Steiners turn them down.
Yeah.
After that, segment 4, Bret Hart defeating the Sandman by DQ.
Basically, the ECW guys interfere. Sandman hits him with a kendo stick, probably. Gets DQ. Paul Heyman basically says that, these ECW guys, we've been here for 3 months now. We're ready to be taken seriously. We're tired of just being filler or a showcase. The triple threat. They took their opportunity. They went after the Horsemen. They went after Flair. And they received some fair treatment. The rest of us that played by the rules, we didn't get that opportunity. So now we've got our eyes set on Bret Hart. We've got our eyes set on the U.S. title. And we are going to take him out. We're going to take out the Hart family.
After that, we get an we go to the back. RVD doing an interview, says, I don't know what the beatdown was about. I
had nothing to do with it.
I wasn't there. I was already gone. I thought what they did to Bret Hart was not cool. Bret's a cool guy. I got no problem with Bret. I don't know. I gotta go talk to Paul. I got no clue what's going on.
Yep. After this, got a tag team match. Arn Anderson and Chris Benoit pick up the victory over Chris Candido and Lance Storm. I think this would be a fucking great match.
That would be an amazing match.
A great match.
Then we get the promo. The Forgotten break their silence. They come to the ring. Hulk Hogan finally gets on the mic, says, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to go down. Obviously.
Basically says our era was gone. We were the stars of, the 80s and the early 90s, a day when people wanted heroes. And he basically said now people don't want heroes anymore. They want anti-heroes. They think it's cool to cheer for the clique. They don't care about guys that do things our way anymore. We realized that, the fans basically forgot about us. It wasn't cool to cheer for guys like us anymore. And so we walked away because we went to observe because we didn't understand what wrestling was anymore.
So Hogan goes on. Brutus won the shot for him. Calls Michaels out. Michaels doesn't come out.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Hogan is supposed to get his rematch clause that night. He was stripped of the title, never got a rematch. Michaels no-shows the title defense, so the main event there is no main event. The main event was fucking Anderson and Benoit versus Candido and Storm, I guess. Which probably would have been a better match than Michaels and Hogan, but,
Yes.
Move on to TV2. J.J. Dillon opens it up. He says, Shawn Michaels no-showed a title defense last week. Therefore, we are stripping him of the world title. The world title is vacant. He did it to Hogan. Now he does it to Michaels. and he announces for the first time ever in Pipedream Championship Wrestling, there's going to be a match called the All Out War. Regal, do you want to kind of explain what the All Out War is?
JJ goes into details and explains that the All Out War will be a match at the next pay-per-view, which will be entitled All Out War. There will be a series of Survivor Series style matches.
4-on-4
elimination matches. The winners of those elimination matches.
The survivors, not the entire team. Only those that survive.
The survivors of those elimination matches will move on to a 2-ring War Games match. Every man for himself, pinfall or submission. And the winner, the one man left standing at the end of that War Games, will be the new Pipedream Classic Heavyweight Champion.
Yes. So the first team to declare themselves for the All Out War, the first team to say, we want a part of this, we want to be in this match, is, of course, the Four Horsemen. JJ's still out here, basically questions, hey, I know Mongo was injured, I know they broke his leg with a cinder block, I don't know if he's cleared. Arn says, that's fair, you know what, you want Mongo to prove he can go, next week, how about this, me and Mongo, one-on-one, I'll put him to the test, because if he's not cleared, I don't want him representing the Horsemen. I want him to prove he can go. If he can beat me, if he can hang in the ring with me, you know he's ready to go to war. I'm going to put him to the test, and that's the match that they announce. There's Anderson versus Mongo next week.
Alex, I'm here to announce segment 3 of TV.
Amazing, Corey.
I'm real excited about this one because we got a match. Medusa defeats Miss Texas, Alex.
Jacqueline, yes.
Miss Texas.
Where is she from?
Texas.
Where's Texas?
Over there.
Where?
Down there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real good match, Alex. I'm excited about it.
Are you?
Yeah. I saw Dusty was here.
Yeah?
I tried to chase after him. He wouldn't take my... He still won't let me in the pipe. He still won't let me in the front of the gates.
Well, that's his... I mean, let's clarify, Corey. He won't let you into Pearly Gates Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
Dusty does not decide who gets in the Pearly Gates and who doesn't.
I don't know. Dusty got pretty good booking power. He might talk to St. Peter up there.
Where?
Up there.
Okay. All right, Corey. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Mean Gene's out there, and Rey Mysterio, Jerry Lynn, Jushin Thunder Liger, and Ultimo Dragon come out. And they say that they would like to be considered for the All-Out War. Ray says he thinks the Cruiserweights have been putting on some of the best matches, and he thinks any one of them could be ready to step up into the heavyweight division. They want the opportunity to wrestle in the All-Out War. Qualifying matches. All right.
Up next, Vicious and Delicious versus the Steiners. Vicious and Delicious defeat the Steiners. I can't believe it. The unthinkable happens, folks. Scott Steiner turns on Rick Steiner.
Scott Steiner turns on his brother Rick. 3-on-1 beatdown. It was a combination of the Money and Sonny. The Sonny and Money connection. That's basically what brought Scott over. He's joining the services of Ted DiBiase and
obviously,
Sonny.
Scott cares about his freaks, his peaks, and his cash.
His freaks, his peaks, and his paychecks. Next up, RVD is walking down the hall when he finds that his bag has been dumped out in the hallway. He's like, what the hell, dude? Not cool. He's picking up his stuff when all of a sudden Taz, Sabu, Dreamer, and Sandman jump him and beat the crap out of RVD, basically signifying that he is no longer part of the ECW group.
And we get Taz defeats Owen Hart.
What would be a great match.
That would have been an awesome match. And then in the final segment, we get to the final segment. We think the show's over. We cut to the back, and the Forgotten have put a 4-on-1 beatdown on Sean Waltman.
That's right. Hogan, Sting, Warrior, and Savage lay out Sean Waltman, and I don't know if the Clique's going to have much use for Sean Waltman after he's been laid out by the Forgotten.
Yeah, they're not good. So we go to TV3. We open up live via satellite. The Clique are cutting a promo. And where are they? They're in Hulk Hogan's house.
Yep.
They're mocking Hulk Hogan's family. They're mocking the Money. They're saying, you know, you might be a guy from a bygone era. This is what got you here. But what can we do now that we're here? Thankfully, you know, Linda and little baby Brooke, they call the cops. So the cops show up and the clique gets taken out. But yeah, they're at the house. They're
trying to get under the skin of the Forgotten.
Yeah, they're getting under the. They're trying to get under the skin of
Hogan. Trying to
Hogan.
play mind games with the Forgotten, with the Forgotten have been doing with them for months.
Yeah.
Next up, Arn Anderson versus Steve Mongo McMichael. Basically, this is Mongo's opportunity to prove he can go. And, of course, who has to play spoiler? Shane Douglas, Chris Candido, Bam Bam Bigelow, Lance Storm attack both guys, causing a disqualification, a no contest. Who do you think the Horsemen are going to be facing in their qualifier for the All Out War, Regal?
I'm going to say probably going to be the Triple Threat.
Probably.
After that, we get a forward from the Crazy Blondes. They want to get into the All Out War. JJ announces, you know, you guys won the All Out War. I got another guy over here who wants in the All Out War, Sean Waltman. And you guys can go...
It's basically been announced that Sean Waltman will not be part of the Clique team. It's going to be Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash taking on the Forgotten.
You guys go find a fourth guy, and you can get in the All Out War match. After that, we get a match. The Giant defeats Vader. Now, as we put this match together, I instantly said, this is amazing because the Giant and Vader is a match in WCW that never happened.
Right.
Because the ships passed.
Right.
Right as Giant came into WCW, Vader went out. They would have been in the War Games match together, but Vader leaves the company, Nitro starts, Luger takes that spot.
Yep.
So, in a match that never happened, Vader and the Giant, Giant gets the victory over the big man. Obviously, you know, big dude looking for a shot.
I mean, this does tie into something. It doesn't really make sense until next week. But how do you fucking pass up on the opportunity to book the Giant and Vader?
Yeah. After that, we get a no DQ U.S. title match.
Oh, you skipped something.
Oh, did I? Oh, yeah. For segment 5, we have a hype video. Bull Nakano is coming to Pipedream.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you have lots.
I wonder if she'll feud with Medusa.
Gee, you think? No DQ U.S. title match. Bret Hart defeats Sabu.
Just a great match of Sabu. Just a kind of a real styles clash. Yeah. But Bret was one of those guys that could go with anybody back in the day. I think this would be a great
and like I said,
match.
This would have been a phenomenal match in '97 because in '97 you're still before the first of the serious injuries start to break Sabu down. Like I said, the neck I think happened in late '98. So after that match, we get a Heyman promo. Says he has a surprise for Rob Van Dam. Then we get to the main event, a match. So
JJ announces. Sorry, we gotta get some context here.
Take care of it.
So JJ basically says we've got a lot of guys, a lot of teams already shaping up for the all-out war, but there are some people that aren't on a team, and quite frankly, there are some people that don't want to be on a team. So what he's announced is the Immunity Battle Royal, where the winner of that Battle Royal will be a part of All-Out War, whether their team qualifies or whether they're not even on a team. The winner of the match, the first person guaranteed a spot in the All-Out War match, is kind of a lone wolf, the Rattlesnake, Steve Austin. So Steve Austin guaranteed a spot in the All-Out War. Because he's not on a team. He walks alone.
Yeah.
TV4 opens up with a Medusa promo, basically saying, you know, she can't wait to be a part of, she's grateful to be a part of Pipedream, she wants to be at the All-Out War, and then Bull Nakano comes out, gets in her face, doesn't say nothing.
Just a big stare down, obviously setting up a match for the All-Out War. Segment 2, Lance Storm defeats Steve Mongo McMichael.
Basically, this is Mongo's last chance to prove himself. And Mongo can go. Storm steals the victory, but it's clear that Mongo is going to be ready for the All-Out War. Next up, so it's basically been announced one of the All-Out War qualifiers is going to be Team Scott versus Team Rick.
Scott's team
Steiner's
essentially
broke up. Yep.
Scott's team essentially the $1 million team as Scott teams up with Vader, then Vicious and Delicious. So Rick comes out, talks about his brother turning on him. Can't believe that his brother chose money and a woman over the lifelong of blood and family.
Yep.
But says, if my brother wants to fight, I'm going to give him a fight. And he announces his team of the Giant, DDP, and Dude Frickin' Love.
Dude, would you have preferred it was Cactus Jack?
I mean, Dude Love's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, the Giant, Rick Steiner, DDP, and Dude Love taking on Scott, Vader, Norton, and Bagwell.
Should be a great match.
Should be a good, fun match. After that, Dean Malenko defeats the Ultimo Dragon, kind of setting up that match as a qualifier.
No, not really a qualifier because Dragon's already on Ray's team.
Oh yeah.
So after the match, Dean Malenko basically grabs the mic and says, he doesn't like Sean Waltman, he doesn't like Chris Jericho, he doesn't like Brian Pillman, but he does want to be in the All-Out War. He does want that opportunity. So if they need a fourth guy, he'll do it begrudgingly.
After that, we get Bret Hart comes out for a promo.
Big announcement.
Bret, says, the Hart Foundation, we got to take on TBCW, and me, Owen, and Bulldog, we got our fourth guy, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart makes the big return.
See, now, I read in the Torch, Wade Keller, and actually in the Observer also, they were both reporting that it was going to be Rob Van Dam as the fourth guy for the Hart team, and this just shows that their reports are bullshit. Whoever their sources are don't know what they're talking about, because it was always going to be the Anvil.
Okay, Bruce.
I'm kidding. After that, RVD picks up the win over Tommy Dreamer, and then Paul Heyman last week said he had a surprise. The person making his debut in Pipe Dream brutally assaulting Rob Van Dam and then cutting a beautiful promo. None other than Scott Levy, Raven.
I thought it was Johnny Polo.
No, it's Raven.
Could it be Johnny Polo?
Fuck you. You won't let Jerry Lynn be the Cruiserweight champion. You don't get Johnny Polo.
Dude.
I'm kidding.
The money's in the chase.
Yes, but we don't go beyond this pay-per-view.
I keep saying that, dude. It's like, well, but hypothetically, if we were.
Main event. It's a captain's match. It's all of the team captains for the All Out War qualifiers. So we're gonna have 5 qualifiers. So it's the babyface captains versus the heel captains. So it's Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Bret Hart, Rick Steiner, and Rey Mysterio against Shawn Michaels.
Can I just say for a second, the image of Hulk Hogan and Rey Mysterio on the same team.
It's happened before, hasn't it?
And also Bret, and also I think it might have actually happened in WWE in the WWE run. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also Bret and Hogan are on the same team, which that
3 of the. I mean, really, it's like 3 of the biggest names of 1997 on the same team.
Hogan, Flair, Bret, Rick, and Ray, and then Rick Steiner.
Rick Steiner. Well, it's for the storyline.
Hey, and dude, the Steiners were over in '97.
Absolutely. Taking up, they took on the team of Shawn Michaels, Shane Douglas, Taz, Scott Steiner, and Sean Waltman. So ultimately, babyface picked up the win. Hulk Hogan scoring the pin on Shawn Michaels in this captain's match.
Big boot leg drop, 1, 2, 3.
Absolutely. Babyfaces are looking up as we.
Can I also point out that heel team would never work because Douglas would have rather shot himself in the head than team with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's fantasy book. It's a fantasy. All right, now we are to the All Out War. Remember, we have 5 All Out War qualifiers, 4-on-4 matches, where the survivors are entered into the War Games match, where eliminations cannot occur until all of the participants. The beautiful thing about this, and I told Regal this last night, this could be, you could have the winner of the Battle Royal and 1 person surviving each match. This could be a 6-person match, or you could have entire teams of 4 survive in all 5 matches and the winner of the Battle Royal. This could be a 21-person match. This match can have anywhere from 6 to 21 people in the main event of the All Out War. We'll see how many we have. The opening match, the opening qualifier is the Cruiserweight All Out War qualifier. The team of Rey Mysterio, Jerry Lynn, Jushin Thunder Liger, and Ultimo Dragon versus Sean Waltman, Dean Malenko, Brian Pillman, and Chris Jericho. This match, only one person added to the All Out War, the sole survivor, none other than
Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio Jr.
Up next, it's Team Rick versus Team Scott. And in this match, the heels get the big victory. The $1 Million Team has 3 people survive: Scott Steiner, Vader, and Buff Bagwell.
All 3 of those guys go into the All Out War, joining Steve Austin and Rey Mysterio in that match. The next up, we have the Hart Foundation versus Team ECW. Again, heel victory for Team ECW, somewhat surprisingly, as Taz and Sabu are the 2 survivors. They will be joining those guys. We are now up to 7 in the All Out War.
Match number 4, the Horsemen versus the Triple Threat. And Flair and Benoit end up being the survivors. The Horsemen picks up the victory.
Yep.
Flair and Benoit is the survivors. So
up to
Flair
9
and Benoit,
in the All Out War.
we're up to 9. And now in the final match,
The final qualifier.
it is the Clique taking on the Forgotten in an absolute war, an attrition war as they go back and forth. One guy gets eliminated. One guy gets eliminated. One guy from the Forgotten eliminated. One guy from the Clique eliminated. It comes down, Michaels and Hogan. Michaels pulls the tights, rolls him up. 1, 2, 3. Michaels is the sole survivor. Michaels is the only guy moving on. So we end up with 10 guys in the All Out War match.
After that, we have an ECW rules match as Rob Van Dam picks up the win over Raven.
Great match. Then we get Medusa defeats Bull Nakano. Obviously, 2 good matches. Kind of filler. Got to give the guys time to rest for the All Out War match. So in the All Out War match,
10 guys.
Steve Austin. Well,
Let's go by entry order.
I'm going to run them down first.
Okay.
Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Chris Benoit, Taz, Sabu, Scott Steiner, Vader, Buff Bagwell, and Rey Mysterio Jr. 10 men, all enter
They enter Royal Rumble style.
Royal
I don't
Rumble
know
style.
if we mentioned that before.
Royal Rumble style into the War Games cage. Eliminations can occur by pinfall or submission, but cannot occur until all 10 men are in.
Entry number 1, Rey Mysterio Jr.
Mysterio, for all the people that gets number 1, the smallest guy in the match by a wide margin.
You also factor in that he was the sole survivor in his match.
Yeah, so which
means his match probably went on longer. It was more competitive, more athletic.
He was out there for a long time. Now, the one saving grace for him is that he was in the first match.
Yes.
So he's had the longest time to recover.
Yep.
Ray is number 1. Number 2 is Scott Steiner,
who actually also had the match where his team qualified the most entrants in the match.
So yeah, the least amount of, and the second match, so he said the second longest amount of time to recover, so a big advantage for Scott here. Number 3 is Sabu, and obviously put Sabu in an enclosed cage,
Yep.
covering 2 rings, and the suicidal, homicidal, genocidal maniac is in a enclosed environment. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Number 4, we get Benoit.
Another baby face.
Number
Evening things out for Ray.
It helps even things out for Ray a little bit, but number 5 is Vader.
Big Van fucking Vader.
Big Vader comes in. Obviously, Vader aligned with Steiner. Obviously, going to help him out. They're going to take out. You got 3 guys in there that are essentially light heavyweights.
Yeah.
Benoit, middleweights, Benoit and Sabu.
Yep.
Against 3 pretty big dudes.
Well, two huge
Steiner
and
big
Vader,
dudes.
yeah. Who are both members of the $1 Million Corporation.
Yeah. And then the number 6 guy,
Another member of the $1 Million Corporation, Buff Bagwell.
So all 3 members of the $1 Million team are in here against basically 3 other guys
that are at best middleweights.
And
well, you have Sabu, who doesn't want to work with Benoit or Mysterio.
And you got Ray, who's been in here the longest.
Yes.
Number 7, though, we get the heavy hitter. Austin's out.
Steve Austin
He's in there.
Match.
He's beating down on everybody. He's going crazy. He's stomping mud holes. Number 8 coming in, we got Taz.
Yep.
Taz comes in, immediately probably starts looking to stretch people. Number 9 is Shawn Michaels.
Michaels kind of laying low, I think.
And Michaels comes in, yeah, he's going to try to lay low. Keep in mind that he's only had a little bit of time to recover.
Yep.
He was the sole survivor of an absolute knockdown, drag-out elimination match. So he's feeling fatigued. And then number 10, the man, he's...
Woo!
Rick.
Where you're living. Number 10 and the winner.
You're coming in, Rick.
All right.
You're walking the aisle.
Start the elimination orders.
All right. So eliminated number 1. We got Buff Bagwell gets tapped out.
Because the eliminations can't start until I come in.
Yeah, elimination can't start till you're in.
That's right.
Buff Bagwell gets tapped out by Chris Benoit.
Crippler crossface.
That's definitely crossface. Number 2, after fighting valiantly, because he's been in there a long time.
Been in there since number 1.
Rey Mysterio, he's a little dude, but he gets... Obviously, Steiner gets a hold of him.
Yep.
Steiner's screwdriver flips him over into the Steiner recliner, and Rey Mysterio gets forced to submit. Number 3, Vader. Vader going out at number 3, kind of surprising. Vader gets co-eliminated by Sabu and Taz.
Yeah, double team for the ECW dummies.
I think Sabu hits him with something that Taz applies the Taz mission, and Vader actually taps out. After that, Sabu and Taz...
I thought we changed that they weren't all submission.
Okay. So, Sabu and Taz get eliminated right after that.
Yeah, Sabu gets eliminated by Austin.
And Taz gets eliminated by Austin.
Taz also gets eliminated by Austin.
Austin's throwing stunners.
Austin's also has a huge advantage in this match because he's the only one that didn't have to qualify that night.
Yeah.
He qualified in the Battle Royal.
We didn't bring that up, but yeah, Austin's fresh when he hit it. Austin's the only guy that's completely fresh when he enters this cage.
Yep.
Then after that, Chris Benoit gets eliminated.
By Scott Steiner.
Obviously by Scott. Then Shawn Michaels gets eliminated by Ric Flair. When Hulk Hogan comes out, he's banging on the cage. He distracts Shawn. Flair hits Flair, the dirtiest player in the game. Low blow, roll up, 1, 2, 3, and Shawn is out.
Absolutely. Shortly after, Rick gets thrown by a series of German suplexes before he's put in the Steiner recliner. Rick just can't fight on any longer. Ric Flair submits, and now it's down to 2.
Well, of course, while Rick is recovered, Austin, who's been out, Steiner had taken him out earlier, but this gives Austin time to recover. So we're down to a 1-on-1. Steiner and Austin, they go back and forth. Steiner goes for the Steiner line. Austin ducks, kick to the gut, stunner, 1, 2, 3. Austin is the new Pipedream Heavyweight Champion.
Whew. And that's it, folks. That's all we booked.
That's 1990, or the early part of 1997. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say where we're going to go because I like this one, and I really like where we went here. Obviously, coming out of this, you've got Steiner looking huge and strong, setting him up for a main event push, which was talked about as early as like 95.
92.
Real? Isn't it 92?
WWF, yeah. They wanted to break Rick and Scott up.
That's why they left.
Yeah.
So yeah, people were talking about Steiner as early. It didn't happen until like 99, but people were talking about Steiner main event running a lot earlier. Obviously, you've got Rick. Now he's got Scott. You've still got the triple threat. Shawn and Hogan obviously still going there. Obviously, Shawn's going to want the belt back. You got Austin as the champion. You have, obviously, guys like DDP, the Giant. You've got Jerry Lynn's still looking for that win over Sean Waltman. What's Waltman's status with the Clique? So there's a lot of stuff. And like I said, even though we only give you 4 months, you always kind of have to think of where would you go after this if you were going there. And there's still a lot of stuff to play out here. You know, maybe someday we'll revisit this one.
We always talked about potentially doing a Pipe Dream rehab, take one of the episodes of Pipe Dream and then continue booking. We always say that we want to do that at the end, but I don't know that we ever will because we've got so many years we want to book still.
Well, I don't care what anybody says. Eventually, we're doing either 86 or 87. Because I want to book 80s, and nobody ever votes for it. So eventually, guess what, you people? I'm just going to do it by my own, and we're going to record it because that's what I want to do. And it's my goddamn show. My name's in the title. I can do what I want.
Wow.
Hey, nobody votes for 86 or 87. It kind of upsets me.
Well, I mean, I was like, well, for a while, this is the first year we've done that hasn't been in the 2000s.
Granted, you weren't even born in 86 or 87.
No, I was not. I was born in 89.
But the reason, obviously, everybody knows the reason I want to do 86 or 87 is that was when a little young, pudgy kid named Timothy Regal.
Oh, you were going by Timothy Regal in 86 and 87.
Well, you know. But that was when little pudgy Timothy Regal walked into his dad's buddy's house, and their teenage son was watching WrestleMania 2, and I instantly got hooked on pro wrestling. So, 86, 87, that was my wrestling infancy, and I want to re-fantasy book it because there's a lot of great stuff. I figured Alex would be excited to do like 86 or 87 because he can book AWA guys.
Yeah.
Alex will be wanting to give some big pushes to Nick Bockwinkel.
Oh, hell yeah. Nick Bockwinkel's beating everybody.
Even though he's like 55.
I don't care. He can go.
But, folks...
I know we didn't book Kurt Hennig.
We did... Dude, we did... Well... Yeah, I guess he was wrestling in 97, so... Yeah, we didn't book Kurt Hennig.
Let's start over.
We forgot to book Eddie Guerrero after the first month.
Yeah, we booked Eddie for the first month.
Eddie had to go back to Japan and wrestle as Black Tiger.
Yeah. Something like that. Jesus.
But no, this one was definitely fun. I feel like I had a lot of...
I say this every time, but this might be my favorite one.
I think this one is my favorite because I feel like I think for some reason, and it might be because 97 is probably one of my favorite years in wrestling history.
Yeah.
I think I was a little bit more engaged.
Yeah.
So
2000s was fun when we did
with the exception of towards the end of last night where I had been awake for about 20 hours and was exhausted.
That's when I start booking the weird shit.
That's how Dude Mankind instantly turned into Dude Love.
I think I just kind of did that to you. I don't think I planned that like that.
I was just like, yeah, sure, whatever. Okay. No. But no, folks.
Well, no, because you thought when I booked Mankind and Ray to Mass vs. Mass, you're like, don't take the Ray's mask off. I was like, I had never for an iota of a second considered taking Ray's masks off.
And I went into a rant about how them taking Ray's mask off in WCW was one of the worst fucking things they ever did.
Do you want to talk about how you tried to Roman Reigns DDP?
Yeah, I did. I did. Of course, I was exhausted.
You had it typed out, and I had to be like, no.
I literally had Roman DDP going over every member of the Clique and then winning the belt.
Well, I brought up the fact that the Clique had never lost to anybody. They'd never lost a fucking match, and you want to have him lose to DDP every week.
DDP walked in and was like, "Bro, I got an idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat everybody and give you the belt."
I think that was the biggest fundamental change we have.
Yeah.
I really like the concept of the All Out War.
Yeah.
We're almost at 2 hours.
And that was a co-concept basically. You kind of we both. I think it always works best when me and you both input certain ideas. And I will give Alex credit. He is the one who came up with the idea for the Forgotten.
Yeah.
So that was he kind of gave us the jumping off point of how the whole story starts, and then from there we both kind of had, and I think with the All Out War, the elimination style, the War Games, everything kind of came together as we kind of pieced it together, and it ended up just flowing all perfectly into that. Originally we only planned to do 3 months on this episode. We ended up adding a 4th month to get the story in where we needed to go.
It just wasn't where it needed to be.
Yeah,
because we had that fucking month where DDP beat everybody. I was ready to go to the All Out War, but Regal's like, no, we gotta push DDP.
But folks, So we had fun this episode. I'm going to drop a couple announcements. Hopefully coming next week, the G1 ends on Sunday. There will be a G1 recap of a show that I still haven't figured out the title for yet. But I'm going to get together with the person who will hopefully become my new co-host. We'll get something out for you guys hopefully early to mid next week. Coming up probably the week after that, myself, Doug Ritter, Adam Gardner, and a friend of ours that are going to the show September 1st. We will have a special Slam Fam All-In preview episode. Alex will probably not be on it because Alex isn't all in.
No, because I'm Super Kickoff.
You're going to Hawkamania Super Kickoff.
I love that name, by the way.
I am bummed out that, of course, it just had to be a damn Hawkamania show that I have to miss.
Yeah.
Because anybody knows me, I love the Wildwood Smokehouse and Saloon. I love Iowa City, Iowa. I love the Hawkeyes. I love the people in Iowa City. And I love the fact that when SCW goes to Iowa City, man, it gets... You never quite know what we might get out of it, because it gets a little crazy in Iowa City.
Another big return this week, probably dropping tomorrow. John G and I will be back doing a SCW Pit Stop preview show.
Recently 3XW debuted John G?
Recently CEW debuted John G.
Man, John G getting out there.
He's getting around there.
He is the man.
I think he's the best ref in Iowa.
He is the best ref in Iowa. He's the man you want to hear count 3.
Absolutely.
We got anything else housekeeping-wise? Is Love Wrestling ever coming out?
Maybe. Planning a new podcast right before a wedding was fucking stupid.
You know I'm just going to keep giving you crap.
Dude, we've got so much shit to do around the house, Regal. I go back to school in 2 weeks.
I know.
I go back to school in 2 weeks.
I know.
And I have a lot of stuff to do.
Hey, Dust.
Let me tell you something, baby. Follow everybody on Twitter, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. You want more than that, don't you?
I was going to ask you first, what do you think of Pipedream 97?
I liked it.
I mean, you're the master booker.
I am.
The greatest booker of all time.
That's true. Alex McCarthy's coming up there, though.
You think so?
He's giving me a run for my money.
I was involved too, Dust.
Yeah, I know. What do you want me to do, Regal?
You make me sad, Dusty.
What do you want me to do? Timothy Regal! You're the greatest chubby guy. I can't say that. You're not the greatest chubby guy in the history of the business. That's me. You're the greatest commentator in the history. I can't give you that. That's me too. You're the greatest manager in the history. Oh, that was me too when I managed Scott Hall in the NWO.
That was like for a week.
And it was the best week of professional wrestling history, baby. Follow the 7-star man, brilliant booker that he is, Alex McCarthy at One Real Smart Alex. Follow Margaret and Dale, who put up with the fucking 9-10 hours that it took them to book this shit, at Bells in a Sale. Go ahead and follow that Jim Hurd wannabe, that Oliver Humperdinck wannabe, that Lee Marshall wannabe, Timothy Regal, at SCW Regal 444. He says he's all in, but I'm going to make a call to Cody and we can see what we can do about that. He might get flipped out if you know what I mean, baby. And follow the podcast at Off the Chest TR. Follow the Slam Fam on Twitter at SlamFamWREST. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram. Margaret and Dale's always bringing them sweet Instagram videos, if you will, at Slam Fam Wrestling, and like the Slam Fam Wrestling Network on Facebook. Baby, this thing's going almost 2 hours.
Man, it's a good thing we don't have that old boss we used to have.
I'm the boss, baby. The Boss Baby. Did you see that movie?
I'm not.
It's hilarious.
You like that?
Yeah, I should come on and do movie reviews.
Dude, that could be a whole entire podcast. Dusty and Corey go to the movies.
That sounds terrible, Regal. That sounds terrible. All right, baby. There's I don't think we're giving another season of Southpaw, so maybe I should just close it out. Nobody knows who. Nobody knows Lance Catamaran anymore.
His relevance has gone away.
Lance Catamaran's relevance is right down there with Corey Macklin and Timothy Regal. Maybe this is the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Give this off the chest to the Regal. Play that sweet elevator music found for free on freemusicarchive.org.